Hello everyone, welcome to another Expedition video. Let's hop right in. So, looks like we've got access to Soraka, one of the new champions. I actually played with Soraka in my last run and she wasn't as impressive as I would have hoped. I think one of the best things going for her though is that she belongs to Targon. So hopefully get offered more sort of Targon cards, which I think are very powerful. We've got Shyvana, another new card. I haven't had a chance to play with her yet, but she does look pretty powerful. Um, just pretty strong by herself. And then I think some of the other dragon cards you get offered might be quite good. Dragon Guard Lieutenant looks really strong if you can behold a dragon. Just a 3/2 challenger. Sounds pretty good for 2 mana. Screeching Dragon, just an excellent card. The only thing that really hurts this card in Expedition is that it's a 5-drop in Demacia, and Demacia probably has 4 or 5 really good 5-drops, so just has a bit of competition at that slot, but still an excellent card. So I'd be happy to pick those up in this pile. Next up we've got Nocturne, pretty strong champion. Possibly the best Shadow Isles champion. I'm having difficulty thinking what might compete. Maybe Callista, maybe there's something I'm not remembering here. Rasa the Sunderer, pretty good card. Stygian Onlooker, also pretty good card. So, I mean, I don't think I'm going to pick Soraka here because these other two piles look really good. I think I'm going to go ahead and take Shyvana, see how strong she actually is. And we'll see if we get offered an Aurelian Soul, that would be really cool. Then we could try out the full Targon Demacia Dragons theme. Alright, so here we've got a Quinn. If we wanted to just stay Demacian, I mean, these cards are really good. Back to back, Laurent Bladekeeper. So that pile's pretty appealing. Leona, you know my views on Leona. I think this is the best champion in Expedition. Very strong. Sunburst, pretty good card. I'm not too sure exactly how this works against Tahm Kench, but I think the way that Tahm works is when creatures are captured inside him, if you silence Tahm before Tahm dies, you don't get your creatures back. So Sunburst silencing the Tahm might actually be a weakness for this removal. White Flame Protector, normally a card that I don't love too much, but because we're sort of building a dragon deck here, that does actually seem pretty sweet to me. Fizz, I mean, you can make Fizz work, but he's not the best, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the Radiant Dawn pile. Alright, so what do we get here? Oh, cool, so we do get access to the Dragon's Descent, because we do have Demacia and Targon, so that's good. Hopefully we'll get some cool options there. So what do we have here? Eclipse Dragon, Next Dragon or Celestial unit you play costs 2 less, or you can create 2 cards in hand with Nightfall. I mean, that seems pretty good. Confront, grant an allied challenger. I'm not super impressed with that. That's just not that good of an effect, even though it's a burst card. I mean, it probably works pretty well with some big beefy dragons, but then, I mean, there's also the spell, which is, give all of your units challenger this turn, and, that's not particularly playable, so I can't really see this card being phenomenal. Radiant Dawn, so Blessing of Targon seems pretty good. Raven, Daylight Spear, like, excellent card, fantastic with Leona. And then Suit Up, I mean, we're never ever taking this pile because it's not in either of our colours, and we want to build a strong synergy deck if we can. Even though I want to try this Eclipse Dragon, I think this pile is just too good. Alright, so what do we get access to here? So again, we're just going to rule out the Cataclysm pile. We're not interested in a third faction. Crimson Guard, so we get a 2-drop, seems good. We get a 4-drop. I mean, we already have 3 4-drops, so not too thrilled with that. This would be probably our weakest 4-drop. So let's take a look over here. Pale Cascade. Yep, very strong card. I love Pale Cascade. Spring Guardian. I mean, not the best, but not the worst. Having access to a Spring Gifts, which allows us to fully heal an ally, could be really strong with a card like Screeching Dragon. Or even just some of the Shyvana fights, so I'm pretty happy to pick this up. Alright, so we get a few cool packs here. So Solari Soldier, best 1-drop in the game, excellent with Leona, I love picking up this card. Zenith Blade, the first one isn't fantastic, but once you get up to 2, it's pretty good. Once you hit 3 or 4, it's an excellent card to have in your deck. Because we're at pick 5 of 15, there's a good chance we're going to get offered more Zenith Blades. So I wouldn't, take this expecting to end the draft with one. A Gift Giver, Resplendent, Stellarcorn, these cards just aren't good enough to want to play over this first pile. Dragon's Descent, so Astral Protection seems like an absolutely excellent combat trick. That card looks like it's just going to cause some insane blowouts. It's excellent with the dragons because they have a lot of health already. So you might get into a combat where your opponent tries to trade off twice with like a Screeching Dragon or a White Flame Protector, and then you heal it back up, give it a bunch of toughness. So that looks really good. White Flame Protector. Look, I don't love the card, but it does seem pretty good in a dragon deck. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Solari, Soldier, and Zenith Blade pile. See what else we get here. So Lunari Duskbringer, I mean, having a 1-drop's pretty good. Resplendent Stellarcorn, we already have a bunch of 5s. We're expecting to get better 5-drops because we're going to be taking some expensive dragons. We're not taking Retribution. Dragon's Descent, so the Blade Keeper and the Concerted Strike. I mean, Blade Keeper is pretty solid. It's going to work well with some of the Challenger units that we already have, and if we can pick up more, it will do even more work. And Concerted Strike is just a really good removal spell, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick up this pile. Alright. So I'm going to rule out this Luminous Dusk pile to start. These cards are fine, but the other piles just look a lot better to me. So we have a Dragon's Descent, which has Behold the Infinite and also Dragon Guard Lieutenant. Pretty good pile. We also have the Solari Soldier Zenith Blade pile. I mean, I think we're just going to take that. Getting a second Zenith Blade is really good, and Solari Soldier is excellent. We only have one 1-drop so far, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that. Okay, got some interesting picks. So Ranger's Resolve, not the best combat trick, but not bad. Grizzled Ranger, pretty good card. Mountain Scryer, pretty good if you have a lot of Targon. How are we looking on Targon? We have 11 to 5. So not too bad, but I would expect to pick up some more Demacian cards to make the dragon theme work. Sneaky Zeebles. Alright, this card looks pretty sweet. I haven't really played with it, but a 3/3 elusive for 5, not too bad. Stunning all their weak units means you can set up a big sort of turn to finish them off. So a bit interested in that. The Infinite Mind Splitter, just an excellent dragon. Really strong. Its only downside is that it's quite expensive, but I mean, I think we can get to the late game, and also there are some dragon cards which could, make this cheaper. Stony Suppressor, all spells cost 1 more. This seems like a pretty bad card to me. This, I mean, we already have a bunch of spells. They're already expensive spells. Having a card like this seems more like a downside than an upside. Like, not that many decks in Arena are really about spells. I mean, I haven't played with it yet, so I'm willing to give it a go, but if we can swap this out later on, I would be definitely looking to swap it out. Mind Splitter is going to be great, though, so let's see how that goes. Alright, so I'm going to rule out the Luminous Dusk pile. Guiding Touch is okay. Pale Cascade, really strong, but I think we want to get some more units into our deck if we can. Spacey Sketcher, Behold the Infinite. I mean, not bad, but, Sketcher, the cards that you often get aren't super high impact. Behold the Infinite can be good, but I don't know. I'm interested in having access to another 2-drop and another, medium dragon, but still a dragon. Alright, so what do we get here? Green Fang Warden, not bad. Loyal Badger Bear, again, not bad. You're not super excited to run it. Sharp Sight, give an ally +2/+2 and I can block units with elusive this round. That seems pretty strong. Laurent Duelist, not a bad card. Not too interested in these cards, so I'm going to go ahead and take Suit Up, I think. Gives us another 3-drop, and it gives us a pretty good spell. I'm excited to see how this plays out. This seems like it could be very strong in a lot of instances. Okay, Egghead Researcher looks interesting. Hold the Infinite, not bad. Mountain Goat and Priestess, yep. I mean, all 3 of these piles are very strong, but I'm pretty excited to get a Solari Shield Bearer. Having access to another Daybreak card and 2 more strong 2-drop creatures seems like what we want to be doing here just to make sure our early game is strong before we try to take over with dragons. Confront, again, not thrilled with this card. It does work really well with this Stalking Broodmother though. Fury and Scout, getting, 2 challenges could be really good. Genevieve, this card is just great. So they've nerfed it, but I think it's still going to be very strong. Fleet Feather Tracker, also very strong. I'd love to take a Solari Shield Bearer, but I think this pile is just too good. Alright, a few different options. Dragon's Clutch. That seems like it could be strong. How many dragons do we have at this point? So we have... Okay, we don't actually have that many. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dragons. So... Dragon's Clutch. So we'd have 6 with this Eclipse Dragon. Yeah, I don't think that's quite good enough when we compare it to how strong some of these other piles are. I think I'm going to be taking the Radiant Dawn. I don't love Tiari the Traveler, but it's not the worst 2-drop. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick this pile up. Just shore up our early game. Right, War Chefs. I just don't think this card is good since the nerf. Relentless Pursuit. Like, pretty strong card. Can definitely win you games. Blessing of Targon. Not bad. We already have 1 copy of this. Solari Shield Bearer, I'm very into. Succession, pretty medium. Vanguard Cavalry. This is again one of the pretty good 5-drops that I was talking about from Demacia. But those are all usually pretty interchangeable. I think I'm just going to pick up the Radiant Dawn pack. Alright. Okay, we get a swap. Yeah, just like I mentioned, I'm really excited to be able to get rid of this Stony Suppressor. I think it's actually going to hurt our deck more than it helps us. I would probably take this Astral Protection swap as well. But I do want to see how good Sharp Sight is. And I think just the gap between these 2 cards, having a pretty good top-end dragon versus a really bad 2-drop is just more important to swap rather than this Sharp Sight versus Astral Protection pick. Alright, let's hop into the first game. Okay, Fiora Z, so expecting a lot of barrier cards. What else? So this Dragon Guard Lieutenant can be really good if we hit a dragon in our first few plays. I think, we have like 6 dragons. So do we keep it in hand or do we look for another 2-drop? That's the question. I mean, I think this is going to be good because we can use it to attack a Zed or a Fiora, so I will keep it. Alright, excellent. We hit the dragon anyway, so that's really good. Okay, they play a tracker. I mean, Solari Soldier, like, look, we just get to block this damage right now. And then, so yeah, we don't take the 2, and now we get to attack or hold back. Like, it just gives us a lot of options. I'm actually okay with them blocking here. Just because they're likely going to be able to trade for this anyway next turn if they want, and then we'll be able to protect our Lieutenant. So if they play a Z here, we get to play Solari Shield Bearer, and then they'll be forced to use Fleet Feather Tracker to trade for the Z, potentially. Okay, Young Witch. Okay, so that does explain their action last turn when they chose not to block with the Fleet Feather Tracker. So yeah, +2/+2, and I can block a unit with Elusive. So we could kill the Fleet Feather Tracker, but I think it's going to be more profitable for us to get rid of Young Witch. Just because, yeah, it's a 2/1 elusive unit as well. So, how good is our open attack right now? Like, it's not that bad. We'll get 2 damage in, trade off for this annoying Fleet Feather Tracker. But I think I'm just going to play Shyvana here. Work on leveling this up. I don't think there are that many cards they can play here which would make our attacks horrendous. I'm just going to get in with everything. If they trade off this Fleet Feather Tracker, it does mean we will have the ability to, deploy our Dragon Guard Lieutenant. I'm pretty happy with this trade, honestly. Oh, okay. I was looking forward to developing a Raven, but Screeching Dragon might prove to be better here. Okay. I mean, they only have 3 cards in hand, so this buff isn't going to be that strong. And also the fact that they buffed this card rather than buffing, something else with the Inspiring Mentor means they likely don't have that many minions in hand still. So a couple of options here. So we can either develop the Raven, or we can develop this Dragon Guard Lieutenant. I think I want to play Lieutenant. I really want to kill this Green Glade duo this turn if I can. Okay, so what cards do I have to be concerned about here? Oh, I should have played the Zenith Blade first, actually. So they could have a way to bounce my unit. They could also have +3/+3 to 2 units. And they can also have Fiora's Riposte. So those are the most likely cards that I'm putting them on here. I think this plays around the most, while also like costing me the least. Alright, Will of Ionia, I can live with that. I get to redeploy. It's interesting that they played this now instead of next turn when it would have given them 1 extra damage. We'll just keep that in mind. They might have a plan. Okay, so that's their plan. Alright, so we're definitely playing this Sunburst. I think we're killing... So this will be a 4/2, this will be a 3/2, so I guess we kill this. I think I'm going to trade off my Dragon Guard Lieutenant. I'm definitely going to block that 4/4 if they attack with it. They probably should have, because it's just going to be a 1/1 after this. So yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Zenith Blade, and then I'm going to play Eclipse Dragon. So I want to Nightfall this, I don't want to Daybreak it, which is funny because Raven makes it so that it's always Daybreak. Okay, so make some more cards. Now this has enough power to beat a back-to-back. If that is a card in their hand. Or if Fiora's riposte, my dragon will still survive. Okay, great. Grant other dragon allies everywhere +2/+2. Alright, well this card is just going to be excellent. We'll see what they do. They definitely need more big elusive cards to be able to win. Okay, that's one. Okay, so what's our best way to beat them here? What's the safest thing we can do? So we need to be able to deal 6 damage next turn to win. I don't think with 2 cards and 5 mana, they can deal an extra 5 damage to us this turn on the attack. So I think what we want to do is we want to play the Destroyer, and we also want to give Overwhelm to Eclipse Dragon. And then next turn we're going to have Blessing of Targon as well to hopefully finish them off. Oh, okay, maybe now we can die. Our only other real option was to play Raven and try to hit a Daybreak card that would allow us to survive, but I don't think there are any that can actually stop elusive units. Okay, so question, do we just open attack here? I think the answer is yes. I should have put this to the back. That was a bad play. Just in case they had the lifelink and barrier card. I think we still might have had lethal anyway, but yeah, it just would have been a better play. Alright, cool. So we win the first round. Oh my. So we've got a Leona. You know my feelings on Leona. I love this card. I love building around a champion and just picking multiples of that champion and then going as hard as I can. Blessing of Targon, pretty strong. Zenith Blade. I mean, it's no surprise we got a Leona. Like, we started with a Leona. You always get offered the champions that you already have. But I'm not going to lie, this Aurelion Soul looks very, very tempting. So we'd get a Herald of Dragons to make Aurelion Soul cheaper. And Dragon's Clutch means we could draw Aurelion Soul more often. Or, we'd have an extra dragon to make, giving all of our dragons +1/+1 better. These cards with Leona aren't fantastic. Blessing of Targon, we already have, 2 copies of that card. The third copy, not great. Zenith Blade, pretty good, getting up to a third Zenith Blade. What's coming with Shyvana? Mind Splitter, White Flame Protector, not bad. I think I'm going to take the Aurelion Soul. Let's give this a go. It's funny, in all the videos I've recorded, I just always end up taking a third champion, even though I keep saying not to do that. And I don't really do it in that many of my games, but, yeah. Ooh, playing a mirror match, are we? Alright, well this hand is looking pretty fantastic. An argument could be made to keeping Pale Cascade, but I think I just want to find more sort of mid-game units. Alright, that looks pretty strong. Sometimes you might not play the Solari Soldier here, but because we already have a guaranteed 2, I reckon that's okay. So our consideration here is that if we play Solari Shield Bearer, if they also have a Shield Bearer, we're not going to be able to attack this turn. So do we want to get 2 guaranteed damage in now? I think I'm just going to play the Shield Bearer. Because, I mean, if they have any other 2-drop, even if they have, like, a 2/3, this is going to attack for 3 instead of for 2. Alright. That's good. That's really good for us, actually. If we just dealt 2 instead of 5 here, we might have just gotten, like, buried by this ramp. So what's the scariest thing they can do right now? Probably play a Shyvana. Alright, Priestess is pretty good as well. So we are going to need to open attack next turn. Just because they're going to be able to play a 5-drop dragon, which will probably be able to block whatever we have. I was just thinking about if we should Zenith Blade the 2-2, because they could have gotten removal off of this, so we might want to diversify our threats. But I think a 4-4 lines up a lot better against, most of the dragons. So in case they didn't get removal, I think it's probably a 4-4 is going to be a lot more useful than having a 3-4. Obviously, if they play like a Screeching Dragon, that could be quite a mistake. White Flame Protector versus Shyvana. So their life total's getting low, but I am quite worried about how this game's going for us right now. So what? So if we played another Zenith Blade here, we would have the ability to block, but there's still a chance that they got an Obliterate. I'm just going to play White Flame Protector. We've curved out pretty well this game. Oh, the Warrior. Okay. Guess I will Zenith Blade this. They'll still have the ability to kill the Shield Bearer, which is, a bit annoying, but could be worse. Okay, they can play their Aurelion Soul one turn before we can, which is a little bit annoying. So options here, I can play Shyvana, I can attack with both, and then I can play Dragon's Clutch, giving them both +1/+1. I think, oh man, this attack is just looking pretty good. Hush. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to give Dragon Allies +1/+1. How does this card work? Oh no. That's a disaster. I guess, yeah, that only works when Dragon Allies are in play as well. I didn't realise that. That card is actually a lot worse than I thought it was. Alright, so we're definitely on the back foot now. We'll see if the Infinite Mind Splitter can pull us out of this. Wow, okay, so they can play an Aurelion Soul next turn. So what do we want to Sunburst? So I'm going to play a Solari Soldier here. Am I? No, I think I should Sunburst. So if we play a Solari Soldier, we would have a 3/3 to be able to block this Fused Firebrand, which is going to get buffed from the War Chefs. But I mean, they can just challenge our 3/3 anyway, so... But now, because we've lost Daybreak, it's a 2/2. Alright, so we'll see what happens. If they have Aurelion Soul here, we are probably dead. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to Mind Splitter these 2 units. Rally. Oh my god. Okay. That is incredible. Okay, are we just dead? Alright, this will be interesting. Stomper, okay. So the thing to keep in mind here isn't just that they're attacking us right now. It's that at the start of the next turn, they get to attack us before doing anything else as well. Okay, so that kills us if we go for this block. Okay, so what if we buff this? And yeah, the reason that I'm blocking like this is because these two units are going to be stunned next turn by the Mind Splitter. So that means if they open attack, we're going to have two blockers. They're only going to have two attackers. Okay, Eclipse Dragon. War Chefs can buff this up to 5. Which means they can't kill our Infinite Mind Splitter, which is really good. Oh. Gosh, we are so close to dying here. Alright. So they're going to get some favourable attacks. Including killing our Shyvana with Screeching Dragon. But, I mean, at least they didn't get an Obliterate or anything like that. It looks like we're going to be able to play Aurelion Sol. This card could be Aurelion Sol, but they would have needed to have drawn it last turn or this turn. Okay, so they should eat Shyvana. I don't like that attack from them. So I kind of understand what they're trying to do here, I think. Which is they want Screeching Dragon to eventually be able to kill the Infinite Mind Splitter. But I think if they don't hook the Mind Splitter there, what they're forgetting about is Fury. And that when the Mind Splitter blocks, it's actually going to stay at this current toughness. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. So I think they're planning for this to drop in toughness. So this will be 5 and this will be 5. But what they're forgetting is this is going to stay at 6. Oh, tough choice. So if we attack with both here, they're forced to block Screeching Dragon on Mind Splitter to not lose. If we play Dragon Guard Lieutenant, so for instance, if we thought they didn't have another unit in hand, if we played this, we could Challenger this and just win. But I think I want to start by playing Aurelion Sol. I think we need to take the Immortal Fire to have another like big blocker and potential lethal threat. Okay, Moondreamer. So many things kill us here. I think we just have to attack with everything. Okay, awesome. Guess the opponent didn't hit any outs off the Moondreamer. So, for instance, if they'd hit a Golden Sisters, um, they could have tried to play that the next turn and kill us with the elusive unit. That was a tight game. That was fun. Alright, so what do we have here? Laurent Duelist for Blessing, not interested. Spring Guardian for Solari Priestess, that seems excellent for us. Herald of Dragons for a Mountain Scryer. I mean, I think Herald of Dragons is going to be really good given what we've got in our deck so far. So I don't really want to do that, even though I quite like Mountain Scryer. But I will absolutely make this trade. It is interesting seeing which champions are strong in Expedition of the new ones that have just been released. An argument can be made to keep Screeching Dragon just because it's strong against sort of their champions being able to challenge, but I think keeping a 5 isn't great. Especially when we've got so many sort of ways to fill out the curve. So our opponent does have 3 champions, but they do have some synergy together. Like, they're all interested in having spells. So if you just have a bunch of the fight spells and barrier spells from Demacia, and then you have Fizz and Lee Sin, that does make some sense. The fact they're just playing a Claws of the Dragon is pretty good. Good for us. I'm just going to go ahead and play Tiari, and I'll happily accept a trade with my Solari Soldier if they attack. Which they probably should. No worries. The fact that isn't being used on a Fiora or equivalent unit is pretty good. Pretty good for us. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to play Solari Soldier. No point attacking for 2. I'm just going to play the Traveller as well. And now we get a really good attack. Traveller buffs Soldier. So they're probably going to have to trade off for our 2-2. That's completely fine. So now, like, our game plan is looking really strong. We've managed to curve out. We've played 4 units in the first 3 turns of the game. So even though they look like the aggressive deck based on what they've got going on, we've had a much more aggressive start. And now we also have, like, a lot of late game tools. So if this game goes on for a while, like, we are likely just going to crush them. That's actually the worst draw we could have hit, which is a little bit annoying, but ultimately fine. Just because this was our second Zenith Blade, so now this Zenith Blade we had in hand doesn't actually draw anything. Alright, sure. I mean, while it is a little bit frustrating that this Claws of the Dragon has cleared a lot of our units, at least that hasn't been, you know, all these spells going on this Lee Sin or a Fiora. Or even a Fizz. Like, we're still at 20. Herald is really, really good for us here. So I think we're going to be taking 8 damage here. Do we want a Zenith Blade to make their Lee Sin attack worse? I mean, I guess they don't really have any attacks outside of this Horns of the Dragon. Which I think we're going to take. It's a little bit risky, but because they're tapped out, I'd rather chump block it later on if need be. Okay, so this turn we actually have options. We could play Dragon Guard Lieutenant, Zenith Blade it, try to kill Lee Sin. But I'm just going to go ahead and play Infinite Mind Splitter. Alright, so both their units are at least stunned for this turn. So even if something does go drastically wrong, they're not going to be able to attack us this turn at least. Huh. So we can make this a 3-3 to at least kill the River Shaper, force out the Resonating Strike. Surely that's worth it. This Lee Sin is getting pretty close to transforming. So I'm expecting this Lee Sin to be transformed on their next attack. Just based on the fact that they drew one spell off the River Shaper already, so it's not that hard for them to have another. So, do I just play Aurelion Soul here? Do I try and attack this Lee Sin? Attacking the Lee Sin just seems so risky. Might grab the Immortal Fire, maybe try to finish them off that way. Don't think I've played any Celestial cards this game. Yeah, in the round. Okay, they haven't played any spells yet. Okay. So this is a bit scary. We'll see what they choose to kick. Good choice. Oh no. Okay. I was going to say at least their unit dies as well, but now I think we're just dead. I don't see how we can win from here, actually. With a flipped Lee Sin. I mean, I guess we can try to fight it down with the Warrior. That might work. How close is Aliona? Alright, so might as well play this first. I mean, we do have a Sunburst in our deck somewhere. So if we can find that, maybe we'll have a shot. What does Leona do for us here? So Leona, stun Lee Sin. Attack with everything. I think I just want to play Immortal Fire, maybe? Try to deal some damage. Try to draw towards that Sunburst. Yeah, that last turn from our opponent was excellent. Very good from them. Okay, so they just keep gaining life. Okay, kick that away. And then one attack step off having lethal. So, is there anything we can do to dig deeper to an answer? So, Screeching Dragon. Playing Screeching Dragon seems okay here. Just because if they don't play this Dragon's Protection here, we can try to kill this Horns of the Dragon. Shyvana. I might play the Immortal Fire here. I kind of want them to cast spells from their hand because that means it's less likely they're going to be able to challenge me with Lee Sin. I don't really understand that. They must have another way to blow out this play. Okay, they're down to one card in hand. So, if that card is not a burst spell, we can Leona to stop Lee Sin killing us with Dragon's Kick. Well, looks like a burst spell. Well played. GG, opponent. GG. We don't have any way to kill our own unit. Yeah, well played. Well played. Yeah, we had a few outs in our deck there. But yeah, opponent played that pretty well. Because we did a lot of early damage to them, and yeah, they just gained so much life back. That was very tough. Alright, I'll happily make this trade and get a Solari Shieldbearer into the deck. Alright, hopefully we can win this one. This deck is sweet. I definitely want to get some more games in with it. I wonder what we could have done differently. We just never really had an answer to Lee Sin. Even that turn that we could have gone for the Zenith Blade attack and they had one spell in hand, the next turn they had, you know, two spells which would have immediately stopped that. Right, Ash, Sejuani, Freljord, Noxus. So they're going to have some likely early plays. I mean, there's a chance that we should mulligan towards our Solari Soldier and Solari Shieldbearer. But I think just having a 2-drop and Shyvana's pretty good. So I think this might just be worth keeping. Not really the cards I want to see. But, I mean, they didn't have a 1-drop. Just going to go ahead and play the Traveler. Okay. I mean, we could attack for 2, but I think just playing Solari Soldier is going to be better. Yeah, I'll attack for 3. There's a chance that they have the Frostbite unit with power 3 or less, but that's okay. Huh. They have a pretty good attacking force here. This Glory Seeker is stopping us from playing a good blocker. I'd love to just be able to deploy this Laurent Bladekeeper here. But then whatever we buff is just going to get eaten by this 5-1. We're going to have a 2-3 and a 2-2, which don't block particularly well. Play Shyvana, it gets eaten. So I think we'll let them attack. We'll see if they try to eat something with this Glory Seeker now. I'm going to let that happen. And if they Frostbite our 2-2, I'm going to use Concerted Strike to... Oh, far out. Okay. Oh, this is bad. So if we Concerted Strike, we still get 2 for 1 and take 7 here. Alright, skip block. Let's play Shyvana. Screeching Dragon's pretty good. Let's play that. Okay, let's kill this unit. So really hoping they don't have some good Frostbite cards here so that this Concerted Strike will work. Okay. So let's strike this, using this and this. That means even if they have a Harsh Winds, Shyvana is still going to trade for this. Okay. Now, do we play a White Flame Protector or do we play a Laurent Bladekeeper? I think attacking with Shyvana is going to be pretty good. Okay, Wolf Rider. So we could open attack with Shyvana here. But I think I want to play Eclipse Dragon first. And we'll see what they do here. If they pass, I'm actually just going to pass back, I think. Okay, they play Ash. I can't attack with Eclipse Dragon into Frostbite. Ballista. I'm scared. We're just at such a low life total right now. Okay, so what is this attack threatening? A 4. Alright. I mean, they could have a Decimate in hand. I mean, we can't really beat that. So our options here are we could play an Infinite Mind Splitter, remove 2 blockers, play Genevieve and Zenith Blade next turn. I could maybe kill them. Could play Aurelion Soul. Yeah, let's just play A-Soul. Okay, Supernova, pretty good. That was awesome. That was a good one to hit. Okay, that was pretty good as well. I guess it's just Operation Unload. Let's play out this hand. Wow, okay. Oh, I definitely thought we were going to lose that one, actually. Or at the very least, I expected our opponent to have some outs to be able to kill us. You know, I don't think they should have conceded there, actually. I think we would have been left with like a 1 health unit at the end there, even if all of our boards had traded off. And at that point, if they drew Sejuani, they could give that unit vulnerable and then use Sejuani to kill us. So, opponent might have been a little bit tilted there. Strafing Strike, pretty good card. Sunburst, great card. Shyvana, yeah, looking pretty good. So now, yeah, we get to pick, you know, what would we like? Alright, well, let's start by figuring out how much Daybreak do we have in this deck. So 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, potentially 14 Daybreak cards with Leona. So Mentor of the Stones, I don't think works particularly well with what we've got. It's just difficult to protect this card. Eclipse Dragon, Again, like, pretty good card. But I don't think that's what our deck really needs right now. Shyvana, pretty strong. Strafing Strike, pretty good. Sunburst, really good removal spell. So I think I'll just pick the Shyvana pile over this Leona, just based on what our deck needs right now. But then we've got this Aurelion Soul pile. So we'd have what? The extra Aurelion Soul, which honestly we don't really need another 10-drop. Herald of Dragons, that seems really, really good given, you know, what we've got, and we'd also be getting an extra dragon for it. Laurent Bladekeeper, pretty solid card with what we've got going on. I think I do want to just grab this Aurelion Soul pack. Just Herald of the Dragon just seems really good. I mean, Shyvana's not too bad either. Like, this Strafing Strike and Sunburst look pretty good. But I think let's give this pile a crack. Let's just try to ramp out some more of our 4-drop dragons on turn 3 or 4. Alright. Everyone must be playing Constructed right now instead of testing out new expeditions. Okay, Tahm Kench Tarek. That seems like a pretty reasonable combination. Get a lot of pump spells for your Tahm Kench. Sunburst does seem like it's actually really good against these cards. It's obviously not great against Tahm Kench because you silence it and then you don't get your units back. But if you just play something before you play Sunburst, that sort of gets around that issue anyway. Let's go ahead and play Fleet Feather Tracker. Play this Soldier. 2 random 1-cost followers. Well, so the reason to keep this in hand would be to be able to play something before Sunburst on, I guess, turn 4 if we wanted to kill Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench or Tarek. I think I'll just play it. They don't really have ways to return any of their 1-drops to hand, so might as well do it this way. That was a really good play from them on turn 2, actually. Maybe our card is better than I thought it is. I didn't take that card too highly, but that was very, very effective. Alright, well, I'm going to play White Flame Protector here, I think. The scariest thing they could play is like a Tahm Kench or a Tarek. And then we've got the Pale Cascade to get around that anyway. So we'll try and deal with the Tahm Kench in combat. And if that doesn't work, we have the Sunburst backup. I think I want to do this now, just in case they have their own Sunburst to kill our Screeching Dragon before we can try to fight this Tarm. Even though we don't get Daybreak. Yeah, so I want to play Leona, but I think I just want this play to work. They don't have ways to give barrier. They do have ways to heal this to full. It's just annoying because we don't draw a card off this now. I mean, if I'd played Leona, this might have just worked a lot better. Especially if they have a way to continue to heal their Tarm, which honestly they most likely do. Okay. That's frustrating. Just burned a lot of resources there. I guess that's the risk of playing around cards sometimes. So we didn't get an extra copy of Zenith Blade because we played around a card. Then we didn't get a card of Pale Cascade. So let's play Leona. Interesting. It's pretty strong. I think I'm going to have to Sunburst that. Because otherwise they could buff this with Tiare the Traveller, eat my Screeching Dragon, get good attacks on my other units. Tahm Kench has been very impressive, actually. I think this unit's very good. I think Shyvana's pretty good as well. Alright, well, let's hope this works. Okay, it worked. That's good. That's good news. And they could have another one in hand, and it wouldn't be, you know, completely outside the realm of possibility for that to happen. Okay. Play a Herald of Dragons just in case we draw an Aurelion Soul next turn. Mountain Scryer, and they hit. I wonder what this split is in their deck. Yeah, we've already seen a few Bilgewater cards, so it makes sense they would hit. Okay. That's not the most threatening Celestial card when we have such a high life total. Okay. It's fine. So we're definitely hoping to draw some cards which can generate us more resources. So Aurelion Sol is obviously the card that we most want to draw right now, just because that's going to be a huge threat in and of itself. It's also going to generate more cards for us as time goes by. So that's like the big one we want to draw. But otherwise, something like a Raven could be good because it makes an extra card. Solari Priestess is strong because it allows us to invoke. Okay, so we're going to play Shield Bearer. And we're going to give Shield Bearer Challenger and try to pick off one of their units, I think. Okay, Fused Firebrand. So we'll try and kill this. And I guess we'll kill this. So what? So this will go up to 4 toughness, and it'll still trade for this. So if that's the case, maybe it's better to just finish this off. I'm okay with a lot of these trades. Shyvana should transform off this attack as well. Obviously, this trade doesn't really favor us, just because they have 4 cards in hand, whereas we only have 1, so they're more likely to be able to redevelop the board. But we're just not in a great position right now anyway. So having Shyvana transform might actually be a way for us to get through this. Definitely trade off a Herald of Dragons. Ooh. Alright, follow-up Kench really punishes our play. Okay, Priestess is good. Priestess is really good, actually. So what are we hoping for here? I guess an Obliterate. Oh, Sunburst. Wow, okay. So I guess it was maybe right to play around Sunburst before. Alright, well, I think we're just taking a Traveler. We just need to keep generating more and more resources here, I think. This is the kind of value chain that can get us out of this board position. That's alright. And the Immortal Fire is very strong, but I think we're just going to keep traveling. Just keep on traveling. Alright, Jack the Winner. Jack the Winner is threatening. I'm just going to take 5. Go to 15. And remember, we still have 2 copies of Aurelion Sol in our deck, so if we draw that card, we're going to be in a good position. Alright, so 2 options here. We can play Raven first, or we can play the Traveler first. If we play Raven, it means we do get to use a Daybreak card. Or sorry, we generate a Daybreak card, but it means we're less likely to be able to play good Traveler cards. I think we just need to generate more resources. Because otherwise we're just going to lose on that front. Okay, you can eat the Traveler. Attack for 5. I'm not too sure why that's their play, why they're eating these 1/1s. Okay, that's fine. So what? So we're going to have access to 5. Sorry, to 4. After we play this. Huh. Living Legends or the Immortal Fire? I mean, Living Legends does seem really good. This value chain has been really good. So we made this, which made this, which made this. Interesting. So do we Concerted Strike? Get a bunch of random dragons back? And what happens? Do we get blown out here if they heal this up? So what, it'll go to 6 unless they have like... So the best thing they could have here is Astral Protection, because that would heal it and give it more toughness. I mean, the units this is obliterating I just don't really care about, so that's fine actually. It's just not that big of a deal, I don't think. Okay, I got some options here. Cosmic Inspiration is always pretty good. So what, I play Cosmic Inspiration, my whole board gets massive. Then I can play a 5/5 Trickstar and the Serpent. So maybe I start with the Trickstar so they can't attack me for 2. Oh, actually, if I do that, then they can potentially attack me for 7 with these units. So I could either play the Trickstar, or I could just stun 2 of these units. I think I play the Trickstar, just because I get a pretty big block anyway. I'll block here, I think. Well, I'm super glad I didn't block that. Alright, so now I'll go ahead and play the Serpent. Okay, so I think... Do we want... Yeah, I think we want to play Star Guardian with Daybreak rather than Zenith Blade with Daybreak. I mean, Zenith Blade Concerted Strike was an option as well, but I think being able to hold this up on their turn to stop this Shade Stalker could be really good. Okay, so that stuns nothing. Let's boost the Serpent. Hmm. Alright. They still have ways to get out of this. But at the moment, we're winning. Strike here. You and you. And now we should be alright. They don't really have ways to deal 2 damage to the face at fast speed. I wonder if we would have lost if we hadn't played Cosmic Inspiration to stop these stun abilities. Alright. Not going to play Genevieve and risk something terrible happening. Awesome. That was a really cool game. I'm surprised we won, considering sort of how far behind we were there. But yeah, that Solari Priestess value chain really pulled us out of that. And I think that's part of why Solari Priestess is so strong. It just gives you flexibility. Like in that spot, if we'd had a hand just full of cards, we also would have had the option to just, take a removal spell at one point. Dig to a champion. Alright. Traveler. Eclipse Dragon. Mountain Goat for Duelist is something that I may be interested in. Maybe not, actually. Duelist was pretty good for us in that game. I wouldn't trade away a Solari Soldier. I don't think we want another Eclipse Dragon, although it is quite good. Just another strong value card. How many of these do we have now? 2. Yeah, let's just skip this trade, I think. Alright, Aurelion Soul Lee Sin. Alright. Let's just keep our sick curve out here. I don't think it's worth keeping Screeching Dragon. Lee Sin can be quite scary, as you saw in some of those previous games. I'm not sure. I mean, Aurelion Soul's not necessarily the best pairing with Lee Sin. But, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with, a card as good as Aurelion Soul in a region as good as Targon, so... Well, same consideration as in an earlier game. Do we play a 2-drop given that they could also play a Shield Bearer and blank our attack? I think the answer is again yes. I think there are enough other cards that they could play instead that makes missing out on the 3 damage more likely than missing out on 2, if that makes sense. So missing out on the 3 extra damage versus guaranteeing 2 in that spot. That's completely fine. Take 4. It's pretty strong, actually. Ooh. So that was a really good top deck. I wasn't too sure. There was a chance we could have attacked with all of our units and then used Blessing of Targon to give us a profitable attack. But, I mean, that's a little risky into 5 mana. So I wasn't too thrilled with that idea. But Leona, yeah, just great here. She's so close to transforming as well. If we'd played the Solari Shieldbearer last turn instead, she would have already transformed. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. That's worked out really well for us. Huge chunk of damage. They're already down to 7. They don't have that much mana banked. They don't have that good of a board. We're about to transform Leona. If we choose, that is. Wow, okay, they discarded Aurelion Soul. So that means there's a chance they already have an Aurelion, like another Aurelion Soul in hand. So we'll have to keep that in mind. Well, our 2-drop blocks your 5-drop. Which is honestly pretty ridiculous. Let's just end the round here, I think. Screeching Dragon, what do you do for me? So we have 9, so we can't play Screeching Dragon and Blessing of Targon. Screeching Dragon, eat your 1/1 is an option. If we play Shieldbearer, it's going to pop the Spell Shield on this Firebrand with Leona's stun trigger. Then we could potentially have Blessing of Targon. And if they play 1 unit, we'd have a really nice attack, most likely. I think I'm just going to go for that, actually. Because then if they play 1 big unit, we will have some agency over how we want to attack, and we might be able to do something tricky. And if they leave a lot of mana up, we can just play this White Flame Protector and pass. Who knows, they might have... Okay. That's good, we forced some resources out of them. And now I'll go ahead and play White Flame Protector. Just going to block like this. This way we have Blessing of Targon up, and we now have board space to play Screeching Dragon. So yeah, we'll Blessing Leona. And if they have another trick, that's fine. That's like their whole turn. We're going to have a super wide board. And if they don't have another trick, then this is just great for us. That's a little bit annoying. But, I mean, worse things have happened. So what happens if we attack right now? Attack, drag this, block one of these, go to 1. So yeah, I will play Leona here. stun this Firebrand, put another 4 power into play. And then if all they have is one blocker, we should have a lethal attack here. I think we still do if we just pull it. So now they need another way to gain life. Or they need to stop one of these units. And even if they do that, we have a pretty good board. Okay, they're still dead. They still have priority though, so they could do something. They're thinking for a long time. Okay. That keeps them alive. Alright, so they're on 6. Okay, they don't really have any ways to mass sweep the board. Do I play Shyvana? So, considerations here are if we draw something better than Shyvana, would we want a board space? Or if we play Herald of Dragons, we would potentially be able to play Aurelion Soul if we drew one. We have a 1 in 12 chance of that happening. Let's just play Shyvana. Of course. Okay, Moondreamer. The Traveler. Pretty strong. Definitely wish I had an Aurelion Soul in play, but I mean, at 1 in 12, it was probably the right call to just play Shyvana. Alright. So, you hook you. And again, they need something at fast speed to stop themselves from dying right now. That's a good start for us. Because basically, so they need a way to stop themselves from dying right now, which means they have to spend mana in this combat. And then we also have the ability to play an Aurelion Soul after this combat. Okay, so they're going to go to 2. So we've got some interesting choices here. Obviously, I mean, if they play their own Aurelion Soul, like, we don't have enough power to flip ours to then be able to Living Legends and close things out. Take the Immortal Fire. Just another very strong unit. We can take the Scourge. So what, so we're going to have 18 power. I don't think we've played any other Celestial cards, so if we want to flip Aurelion Sol, I think we take the Scourge. We'll also, yeah, have the option to play Aurelion Sol's The Skies Descend, depending on what they play now as well. Okay, so they play their Sol. So if we just Descend, we don't kill their Aurelion Sol, which is a little bit annoying. But I think we just play the Scourge here. We're in pretty good shape. Their Sol isn't transforming, ours will. Interesting. Well, we don't transform now, but neither do they. I can't think of a compelling reason to do anything other than open attack here, when they could have like Celestial cards that stun our units, or big blockers, or just ways to remove our units. So our opponents played really well. We've had 2 lethal attacks where they had to do something in combat, and there just aren't that many cards that do that, and yeah, they managed to claw back in both. I think they probably needed to use their Aurelion Sol there to fight our copy of the Scourge, so that we wouldn't have a huge overwhelm attack. Okay, how do we feel about these swaps? So I don't want to make this swap. Shield Bearer is just too good. We already have 5s, even though this is a great card. Fleet Feather Tracker, like, great card. Solid 1-drop, not trading it for a 3-drop, even if the 3-drop is pretty good. White Flame Protector, pretty medium. If we weren't playing a Dragons deck, I just wouldn't really be thrilled to have this card in my deck. Sneaky Zeebles, I mean, it seems pretty good. I haven't really played with it much. It's pretty new, but it does seem like a pretty sort of strong finisher. But given the fact that we have 2 copies of Herald of Dragons, we have a Dragon Guard Lieutenant, we have Dragon's Clutch, I'm not comfortable making this swap in this deck, even though I probably would make this swap in a lot of other decks. Alright, Mono Targan, Soraka Asol. I don't think we want to keep Eclipse Dragon, even though we have a way to make it a little bit cheaper. Alright, cool. Messenger's Sigil. So normally, if you don't have a 2-drop, you'll hold the Solari Soldier to be able to attack with it the following turn as a 3/3. But because we have this Herald, we're just going to play it. I think we want to play Herald into White Flame Protector rather than Solari Shield Bearer into Solari Priestess. So I'm just going to attack for 2 here. So this is a mistake that I see players make sometimes. So they've just played Behold the Infinite. All they had was 2 mana. They don't have the option to block. So playing this card doesn't actually give you more choices. So for instance, that information could have been important. They might have had a 2/2. They might have been deciding, do I want to block with my 2/2? And maybe what they hit off Behold the Infinite would change their mind. But in that spot, because all they had was 2 mana, they couldn't make any additional decisions. What they should have done is they should have banked that 2 mana. Because this is a burst spell, it doesn't take an action. And then this turn, for instance, they might have drawn something like a 5-cost spell that they would be able to play. Or who knows, they might have suddenly drawn a card which, if they'd known that card was going to be in their hand when they played Behold the Infinite, they would have picked something different. And now they would have the option to do so. So I tend not to play Behold the Infinite or these sorts of burst spell cards unless like the information actually matters. Alright, let's just go ahead and play White Flame Protector. So I'm attacking with my Herald of Dragons because, well, A, I don't think they're going to block with their Herald of Dragons. And if they do, I feel like if they use like a combat trick, for instance, then they're not going to have enough mana to play a big dragon this turn. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play Solari Priestess here. Traveler, Golden Sisters, Written in Stars. This is an interesting choice between Written in Stars and Golden Sisters. I think I'm going to take Written in Stars. If we could hit an 8-drop Aurelion Soul, I think that would be awesome in this matchup. That was a really good draw. Okay, Star Shaping. Alright, so they're healing quite a bit. So this turn I'm going to play Solari Shield Bearer and White Flame Protector. And then we're again going to have a pretty good attack next turn. Ooh. Genevieve's so good. I'm going to get rid of the Solari Priestess. Normally I would try to keep Priestess around. Cosmic Inspiration, wow. It's pretty good. So yeah, normally I would try to keep Solari Priestess around, just in case I have, like, because a lot of these Daybreak decks, you end up with Morning Light, which lets you trigger the Daybreak abilities again, and Solari Priestess just has, you know, one of the best Daybreak abilities in the game. But yeah, in a spot like this, where we don't have that card, and we don't have multiple Leonas, so we're never going to have access to that card in a game, just, yeah, get it out of there. Alright, so I get some big trade picks here before we play in the finals. So I think Herald of Dragons is too good for us, so we're not going to make the swap. Sharp Sight has been pretty good, so I don't think I want another 7-drop instead of it. Not making this swap either. Alright, so I love Solari Priestess. Happy to pick up another one. Most of the decks you play in the 7-win bracket are probably going to be, like, pretty good. So sometimes having more access to, you know, the 5 and 6-drop removal can be really, really good. Okay, White Flame Protector for Sunburst. Yeah, all these... So this choice is tough. This is the only one that I'm really considering. I think I'm just going to keep the White Flame Protector. Is that wrong? Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it for now. I don't want any of these trades. Yeah, I think Sunburst is probably better than a Sharp Sight, so let's do that. Wow, I've been getting offered a lot of copies of Sunburst, haven't I? Blessing of Targon or an Eclipse Dragon. Not sure on that one, actually. Not too sure. I definitely don't want to make this swap. This card is still just really bad, especially when we've already got way better top-end options. I wouldn't get rid of Zenith Blade because we only have 2. If we had like 4 Zenith Blades, I would easily make this swap. Blessing of Targon for Eclipse Dragon is really the only choice here that I think is worth considering. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make this swap, actually. I think having one more top-end dragon, now that we've got 2 of the ramp dragons, could be good. And just being able to ramp out an Aurelion Soul on, turn 7 or 8 is just going to be really good. Alright. So that's a pretty smooth curve out. But I think I'm just going to get rid of these 2. I think that they're just a bit too slow. Blade Keeper, buffing either of these units doesn't really matter that much. And yeah, cards like Solari Shieldbearer, Solari Soldier are just going to be very important. I'm expecting them to have lots of copies of... I think I will play... So I play Shieldbearer here. Yeah, I'll play Shieldbearer. So sorry, I'm expecting them to have a lot of copies of Culling Strike, because I think you get offered a lot of the Frostbite cards and Culling Strike in this combination. So I'm just keeping that in mind in terms of my overall strategy. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure why they would do that. Yeah, I'll end around here. While I would like to deploy more of my hand, it's just kind of suspicious that they would do that. Alright, now I get to play Shieldbearer. This means I'm going to have a block on Ash. And here I'll play Herald of Dragons. I mean, they could have Avalanche in their deck. But I don't think it's worth playing around. Okay, Rhyme Tusky Shaman. So let's play Priestess, see if we find some removal. We do. I think I'm just going to take the removal. I mean, Written in Stars is pretty good, but... And then I think I just want to kill this. There's a chance this won't work. They could have Troll Chant, but the fact they didn't even consider blocking makes me think that they likely don't. Yeah, I'm not sure what this Brittle Steel was about, given that now they have the Ash in play. They didn't try to blow us out with a trick. Okay. So now I'm just going to play Eclipse Dragon. Alright, they have a very good attack here. Wow. We're almost dead here. Oh, wow. Our position has changed so much. That was such a good turn from them. Wow, I was not expecting 3 Icevale Archers. Make us unable to block. Darius. Hmm. Alright, so we know they have Crystal Arrow in hand. 3 or less health. So it's going to frostbite our whole board. I think I want to play both of these cards this turn. And I think I want to generate 2 cards. This is a really tough one, though. Their last 2 turns have been great. I really thought we were going to win based on how that start went. But yeah, this Icevale Archer turn was just incredible. Okay. So, I think we have to try to kill this Ash. I think it has to be like this. Yeah. So you, and now if they have another Frostbite card, it's just over. We're just dead, but I mean, they would need to Frostbite 2 of our units. So there, we were just choosing what we wanted to get +1/+1. Oh no. We are dead. Oh well. Ah, frustrating. Oh well, GG opponent. Wow. So yeah, they missed their early turns, but really paid off for them. Oh well, I think our deck was pretty strong. Shyvana, good card there. I think it was pretty strong. Picking up the Aurelian Soul to go along with it was really good. Herald of the Dragon made some of those 4-drop dragons really powerful. So overall, pretty cool card. Good addition to the game, I think. Thanks for tuning in.